Live from Dallas, Texas, Faith Works. This program is brought to you for the uplifting of your faith, and the next 30 minutes can change your life forever. Now, here's your hosts, Pastor Dennis and Dr. Elaine Head.
Welcome back to Faith Works. My name is Dennis Head. I am joined here by my lawfully wedded wife, Elaine, and we have a very good friend of ours, Ping Gao. You're originally from China, right?
Yes.
And you've had the most incredible experience, and we've asked Ping to join us today to share with us not only his experience in salvation, but he had a very, very unusual baptism experience. Elaine, do you remember that day?
I do. I remember you and your friend Patsy came over for the baptism, and it was very cold.
Yes,
a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And why don't you tell us from your perspective what was happening? I remember you were hesitant to get into the water.
Yeah, it was about 2 years ago, and we were in that swimming pool. It was so cold, and tried to get in the water. It was so cold. Falling down and says, "Ping, just be a man. Come on."
And I said,
so cold.
And I said, Ping, don't worry. The Lord will warm up the water for you.
Yes.
Do you remember the pool was not heated? It was in the wintertime.
Very cold.
Mm-hmm. Really cold.
Your feet started turning blue.
Red.
Blue.
Okay. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was just so cold, and we walked into the pool, and then when we had the baptism, and I said, "Oh, it's warm." I told you it was warm.
Like all of a sudden, it just started turning warm around you. You said, like a whirl, like just going around you, warming up the water.
Yes.
That is one of the most amazing things. I mean, here it is in the winter, we're at a swimming pool, not heated. I mean, it was freezing cold, wasn't it?
Was.
Do you remember when we stepped down? When did it get warm? I mean, what exactly happened?
I just remembered that one day in the water, and then it started warm, and come out. It was not cold anymore.
Was it as warm as a bathtub, do you think?
But it was not cold. I was like, "Hey, it's warm."
Yeah, I remember.
I did not know what happened. I was just like, okay.
It's warm. And then you sent us a card. Do you remember the card that he sent us?
The card was hilarious.
He put himself on the top of a mountain and him coming down into the water, celebrating his baptism, because that was a day of celebration, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So how long had you been saved at that time?
That was, what, 2 years ago?
Yes.
So what was your salvation experience like?
Like whenever you gave your life to the Lord Jesus Christ, when did you do that?
That was a few years back.
Where were you when that happened? Were you in Bonnie Kahn's church?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So she's the one that brought you to the Lord?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Memphis, Tennessee. And so has your life changed since then, Ping?
Yes.
Can you tell us how? I mean, what was noticeable to you? Well, I can tell you a few things if you're not going to open up.
You seem nervous. I don't believe
Just
this.
relax, just relax. You're here with friends. We're all just friends. But I know that it changed you into a praying man. That I know.
Yes.
That I know about you. So, have you seen answers to your prayers?
Yeah, actually.
So your Christian life is an adventure to you, you think? What about when you go to China? You have you live in Beijing.
Yes.
What happens when you go to China with your newfound faith? Do you share it with your friends and family there?
Yes, I do. I do share.
Is it making a difference?
I think so.
Well, good. I feel like it is too.
I mean, you really kind of think you're an evangelist, don't you? I mean, you do help people understand Jesus and the salvation experience.
Yes.
So, do you have another experience where you've helped somebody else get saved, or are you telling people about Jesus?
I remember I went to lunch with a friend of mine, and we started talking about different religions, and then he told me afterwards, and he started thinking differently. I don't know, I changed him, but it just was different.
Do you remember when we were in China and we were handing out little little tract to tell people about Jesus, the story.
Yes.
And all these Chinese were just reading them, walking and reading them. And one person asked me, "Do you know the story? Can you tell me the story?" Do you remember that?
Yes.
So the Chinese are very
University.
hungry. They're very hungry for the good news.
Hey, Ping, you shared something with me that it's to me very fascinating about the Chinese people. The Chinese people have a distinct appreciation for Americans. Do you remember the two things that you shared with me about their attitude toward just American people? That they say that Americans are
Trustworthy and what I don't remember what that.
Look, I may be putting you on the spot here, but I am fascinated with the fact that the Chinese people even have billboards that talk about American integrity or American honesty. Folks all over China, they have such a high regard for Americans that they actually believe that we're some of the most trustworthy and honest people in the world. And I think you told me they'll even ship a whole shipment of stuff to Americans just on our word because they trust Americans. And then I think the other thing that you shared with me is that they thought we were so compassionate. Mm-hmm. And I know that when we were together in China, that was one of the things that was so exciting, is because people would say, well, Americans are honest or Americans are compassionate, and we were able to tell them that the reason we're honest in their eyes, or the reason we're compassionate, is because of our Christian faith, that Jesus himself brought into our lives a very strong desire to always be honest people. And the give your neighbor a cup of cold water was an act of compassion, and we're followers of Jesus. And I mean, it's interesting for me to think that 1 billion people out there like America, and yet the Americans don't even really understand that it was those Christian principles that have impacted our reputation. You want to talk about barachel?
Yeah, let's talk about barachel. Why don't you tell the people about barachel?
Let's take a break here for a minute. We have a sponsor. It's called the Barachel Foundation. They do and sponsor projects all over the world, and we'd like to just hear from them now.
This FaithWorks telecast is proudly sponsored by the Barachel Foundation. Barachel is a multifaceted Christian organization whose sole purpose is to help support missions by underwriting Christ-centered projects around the world. We direct our resources to those who minister to the needs of women, children, and the impoverished. You too can be a part of our giving family by prayerfully and financially helping in our various projects, such as orphanages, planting life-giving churches, international Bible colleges, and supporting university students from other continents through our scholarship and cultural immersion programs here in America. To learn more about our work, please visit our website at www.barachel.org or www.faithworks.tv, or write us at the address on your screen.
We want to welcome you back to our FaithWorks program. And right now we have Ping from Beijing. Ping.